Hello Bitzbox, this is Craig from Bitzbox.co.uk with another painting tutorial, and in this one I show you how I do some really sort of rusty Blanchitsu style Necrons, and this is a scheme that I'll be using for my Necron army going forward. So originally I was going to make a video showing off like painting a load of different test schemes and whatnot, but most of them are quite basic and quite similar. So I thought I'd scrap that idea and then just show you how I painted the one that I settled on. But if you are curious about the other schemes I tried, do hop over to our Instagram page. I did post them on there. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So here we have the Necron, and he was undercoated black, and he sort of joined me halfway through painting on a thin layer of Typhus Corrosion. So yeah, I forgot to press record as I started doing this, but ho-hum. Yeah, just a thin layer of Typhus Corrosion just gives you a nice sort of texture to work from. That will really help with the rusty effect. Now these next two steps really depend on what you want the colour of your Necron to be sort of underneath. So I'm gonna, it's like a dark green, so I'm choosing Deathwild Forest, and I'm just sort of doing a heavy sponge of this. So you get a little bit of that Typhus Corrosion showing through, but mostly it'll be green, but it helps build a little texture as well. So just going around, sponging this on. Now you could do a heavy dry brush if you so wish, or even just paint on if you really want. There'll be plenty of steps coming up afterwards, so it won't make a massive difference here, but I'm using the sponge sort of throughout this. So next we take some Ogryn Camo, and this will act as our highlight to this original colour. So of course if you're doing different colours such as reds and blues and whatever, you would use a lighter shade of that, and I'm using tweezers this time so I can just dab it on quite lightly, and that gives us a nice highlight to work with. So now we're going to take some Baharroth Blue. So I'm going to do little bits of this. So this is essentially going to be like verdigris. Now you could use the GW paint for that, Nylak Oxide. You could use some of that if you so wish. I want this in just sort of larger patches, and it adds a nice little bit of colour to it. But don't worry if he looks a bit garish at this stage, it'll all come together. But again, just being gentle, just doing random little patches like so. That's up to you how much you do, but I normally find less is more. And now for the rust effect, I'm doing the same thing, but this time with Troll Slayer Orange. You could use the Citadel Rust dry paint if you so wish. I think it's better just to use normal acrylic layer paints if you're using a sponge technique. If you're dry brushing though, obviously the dry paints work very well, and they're not too bad for sponging, mind you. I'm filming this in the middle of summer, so in this heat it's probably a bit better just to use the acrylics. You see it, I needed to sort of reapply some a bit more after that. Runelord Brass is going to be used for all the skeletal areas. It's entirely up to you what colour you do these, of course, but I really like the Runelord Brass, so I just wanted to use it really in the scheme. And then I'm just going to give everything an Agrax wash. Now, I'll be coming back in with the Agrax a couple of times later. I hadn't planned at this stage what colour I was going to do the gun, so you might want to leave this step until you've painted the base coat on the gun, because I'll be using that again once that's painted as well. So it's entirely up to you how you do it. Speaking of which, I'm now going to base coat the gun in Leadbelcher. Now, I was going to keep it black, but I thought I'd do a lot of rusty metal on the gun. So again, as well, there's a couple of steps where I'm going to sort of rust this up, and yeah, I would have planned this a bit better. There have been a few less steps, but I had a bit of Runelord Brass on there as well. And now I'm just coming back in with the Agrax. It gives the metal a really sort of nice dull colour, as well as picking out all the detail by going in recesses. And yeah, I'm getting the Troll Slayer Orange back out again. So ideally you'd probably base coat your miniature, then base coat the gun, and then do like your rust effects. So going forward, that's how I will do it. But as I said, I just didn't know what colour I was going to do the gun then. And you might want to just come in with Agrax again if you want to dull that down. I'm just painting Talasaar Blue in these little energy bits. Because I've got quite a dark base, it's not going to be too bright. Now I'm going to sponge on some Runefang Steel. Now I should have done this before with Talasaar Blue, but never mind, I wasn't going to originally, but I just wanted to just brighten up some of that metal. And just make it look like some of the metal's been sort of chipped away. And carrying on with Runefang Steel, I'm going to paint the little symbol on his chest. And that's just bugging me that that wasn't painted in anything, so I thought I'd pick it out to make it stand out a little bit. And I'm also going to do his eyes as well. And I don't think I show it, but I put some Talasaar Blue in his eyes as well. So I don't always show the base, but for the base of these I'm going to take some Martian Ironcrust. I've never used this before actually, so that's why I decided to use it. And I think the orange works quite well with the rusty scheme that we've got. And then good old friend Agrax Earthshade, just with an old brush here. You can see this brush has seen a lot better days. And then Kindleflame Dry works really well, just going over there, and that really picks out the detail of the base. And yeah, simple as that. And I really like how this has turned out. It has that sort of rusty sort of Blanchitsu look to it. And I forgot to mention in the intro that I was basing it off a piece that I found on Pinterest of a really nice sort of rust effect, so I'll show that on the screen. Yeah, I think it worked quite well. So that was my reference image. But yeah, really happy with how this Necron turned out. Nice, quick and easy, and yeah, I'll be doing an army of these, so one day you'll see them in a back rep. I don't know when. I want to do some conversions to these as well, so I might even have some conversion videos in the future. We shall see. But yeah, all I have to say is thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, then please feel free to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. You can also click that bell icon to be notified when a new video has gone live on this channel. On the screen now are 2 more videos that you may wish to check out, and a link to our Patreon page also. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.